Are you coming to Valencia? In this video, I'm going to show you some of the best things that you can do so you won't waste your time here. Let's check them out. Before you start your sightseeing, you'll want to fuel up with a local style breakfast. In Spain, it's common to eat 5 meals a day, and while it's not followed everywhere, el almuerzo, the second breakfast, is a great way to get ready for a day of exploring. In Valencia, this tradition is called el esmorzaret, and there might not be a better place to try it than Nuevo Oslo. When you walk in, you know you're in the right spot. It's known as el rey de la esmorzaret, the king of the esmorzaret, and every table has its own little crown. The bar is packed with food, but the menu tells you exactly what this meal should include. Traditionally, an esmorzaret consists of a drink, mainly beer or wine, peanuts, olives, a filled baguette, and a coffee. With the olives and peanuts already on the table, I ordered a Spanish omelet with sobrasada and cheese, along with a café con leche. Bread came with it, so it was basically like having a sandwich anyway. And of course, since the menu did say I should have a beer, I had one too. Now you're fueled up and ready to explore. The first thing I'm starting with is the cathedral. Roman Forum, Muslim mosque, now 13th century Gothic cathedral, and inside it's got the Holy Grail. To get the full experience, you'll need 2 separate tickets. One for the interior and museum, and one for the Miguelete bell tower. Start with the cathedral interior and museum. You can pick up an audio guide if you want to hear more about the history and how it was built as you go. The interior might feel a bit bare at first, but look up. The main altar and dome are perfectly decorated. And just behind the altar, in the chapter of the Resurrection, you'll find the fully intact arm of St. Vincent the Martyr, one of Valencia's patron saints. And don't skip the museum section, especially the area below the cathedral floor. You'll see excavated ruins that date all the way back to Roman times, showing you just how many layers of history this place has. But the main draw here has to be the Holy Grail. According to tradition, this is the cup used by Jesus at the Last Supper. After being taken to Rome, it was hidden in the Pyrenees near Huesca before being brought to Valencia by King Alfonso V in the 15th century. Whether you believe the legend or not, it's definitely worth a look. And when you're in the cathedral, you gotta go up the tower, and Miguelete has 207 stairs, so let's see how this goes. Haven't counted them all, but it's definitely a lot. Passing some people on the way up. It's definitely doable, but it's supposed to be the best views in the city. Now, if those 207 stairs scare you about coming up, I always get up to the top of any of the towers. I always love to see the layouts of cities, get an idea of where everything is, and from here you can see everything. But of the Spanish cities that I've been to, Valencia isn't the best of views. Don't know if that helps cure the FOMO. And it really is a beautiful city to walk around. You've got a real Mediterranean vibe and feel, the palm trees, the architecture, everything. If the religious side of the cathedral isn't really your thing, just around the corner you'll find the Cathedral of the Senses, better known as Valencia's Mercado Central. This is the largest market in Spain and the biggest fresh produce market in all of Europe. The building itself is stunning and a great example of Valencia's Art Nouveau architecture. But inside, the real magic is in the color and the smells, with stalls overflowing with fruits, vegetables, meats, cheeses, and more. You can sample some unique local products or grab a bite at one of the many small restaurants inside. And of course, it's the perfect place to try Valencia's most famous drink. If you're in the market, you gotta take advantage, try out some of the horchata, the cartons. It goes perfectly together. Before coming to Valencia, you'll probably have already heard of horchata, an incredibly refreshing drink made from chufa, tiger nuts, water, and sugar. You'll find it all over the city, but you want to make sure you get it fresh and from a good stand, like the ones inside the Central Market. Legend has it that a young girl once offered a drink to King Jaume I, and after tasting it, he said, "Això es horchata," meaning, "This is gold, girl," and that's how the drink supposedly got its name. And apart from the cathedral, the other building in the center of Valencia that you have to see that shows its rise to power, definitely towards the end of those Middle Ages, is La Lonja, the Silk Exchange, and you have to take a visit. As Valencia's importance as a port grew, the city needed a proper space for merchants to trade. The first stone was laid here in 1492, and what followed is this incredible building, a symbol of Valencia's wealth and influence. It's called the Silk Exchange because silk was one of the main goods stored and traded here. Since 1996, it's been a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the only one in the entire Valencian community, which should really tell you something. When you arrive, you'll enter through the orange patio, a courtyard filled with orange trees and stone carvings. But the highlight is the Sala de Contratación, or the main hall where business deals were done. The 8 twisted columns stretch up towards the ceiling and almost look like palm trees, something you'll see all over the city. Upstairs is the room for the Consulate of the Sea, which served as the merchant tribunal. The room itself is worth the climb just to see the beautifully decorated wooden ceiling. And one thing you can't miss out on is a visit to San Nicolás. It's also known as Valencia's Sistine Chapel, and it might be the best thing that you see here. From the outside, St. Nicholas Church might not look like much, but once you step inside, it's a completely different story. The entire interior is covered in frescoes from head to toe. The church dates back to the 13th century, but the artwork that earned it the nickname Valencia's Sistine Chapel comes from the 17th century when the ceiling was painted in the dramatic Baroque style. The fresco tells the stories of St. Nicholas and St. Peter the Martyr, and they're spread across every inch of the ceiling. The level of detail is incredible, and the restoration work has brought the colors back to life. It's one of the places where you just want to stand still and take it all in, or sit in the pews and listen to the history of the space. And trust me, the explosion of color alone makes it more than worth the visit. Normally with these city videos, I love to offer something that is truly typical to the city, but when you have a restaurant that has won the best burger in both 2024 and 2025, you gotta get over to 100 and you gotta check it out. And when I say best burger, I'm talking about in the entire world. 100 was founded by 2 Valencianos who wanted to find and create the best burger in the world, and who would have thought that you could find it in Valencia? We took advantage of our trip to try out several of the things on the menu, including the award-winning Singular. We also got the pulled pork fries, pulled chicken croquetas, and with a name like this, I couldn't resist ordering a burger called Stifler's Mom. We also had to try a bunch of the different desserts, and they did not disappoint. And we even found the spot where they founded the football club of Valencia. And there's a bat in that logo. You'll see bats all over the city. And if you don't know that story, it's a good one. Way back in the 13th century, Jaume I, the conqueror, was coming over to take over Valencia. Rumor had it that bats were flying around all the time while the Muslims were still in control. And on the night before a siege, they set up camp, wanted to get a good night's sleep before that battle the next day. The Muslims had a nice little sneak attack, got right in there, scared off the bats who made a bunch of noise banging into drums and all of the armor, waking up Jaume I and his soldiers. They were able to then take over Valencia, take over that battle and everything, and the rest is history. To thank the bats, they put a little bat into the sigil, and that's always been on the crown of Aragon. So you'll see it in Valencia, Barcelona, Mallorca, and even in Aragon. There it is again on the City Hall. And if you're gonna get a beer, Amstel is from here, but Turia is the toasted, and you can get it named after the river. Now, Valencia is an easily walkable city, but it's also pretty spread out. One of the best ways to explore and cover more ground is to rent some bikes and head out. You'll see bike rentals all over the city, and while the historic center is best explored on foot, biking through the Turia Gardens, over to the City of Arts and Sciences, and down to the beach was honestly one of my favorite things we did while we were there. Valencia's wide paths and dedicated bike lanes make it easy and enjoyable, and the city's beauty really comes through when you're riding all around it. And Valencia offers miles and miles of beaches, and one of the best parts is how spacious they are. Even in high season, you'll usually be able to find a good spot without feeling packed in. The main city beaches like Playa de Malvarrosa and Playa del Carbanal are easy to reach and have a wide, flat stretch of sand that's perfect for swimming, relaxing, or hanging out in the sun. Running alongside the beach, there's a long boardwalk lined with restaurants and beach bars. So after a morning in the sand or dip in the Mediterranean, you can grab lunch with a sea view. Just make sure to make a reservation if you're planning to eat at one of the most popular spots. They fill up fast, especially on weekends. And we made reservations along the beach at La Pepica, of all the places. It was good enough for Ernest Hemingway, it's good enough for us. La Pepica sits right on the edge of the Carbonal beach at the far end of the boardwalk, and it's one of the most famous restaurants in Valencia. It first opened in 1898, and over the years it's welcomed some pretty big names. Not just Ernest Hemingway, but also some famous Valencians like the painter Joaquín Sorolla and author Vicente Blasco Ibáñez. We ordered some croquetas, patatas bravas a la Valenciana, and of course, a paella. Because if you're in Valencia, that's the one thing you absolutely have to try at least once. We went with the paella Valenciana, made with chicken, rabbit, and local beans, the most traditional version and what this region is really known for. But if you're more into seafood, they also serve La Pepica paella, which comes with all the shellfish already peeled. Word has it, Sorolla requested it as a way to not get his hands dirty. And just like the hamburger, we have the best ice cream in all of Spain, so you had to stop in there at Beneta. I got ron con pasas, so rum and raisins, and dreams of Agrava. To get a sense of Valencia's medieval past, you can check out the city walls, or at least what's left of them. The original wall once surrounded the entire old city, but today the best preserved parts are the two main gates, the Torres de Quart and the Torres de Serranos. Both towers are open to visitors, and you can climb to the top for great views over the old city and the surrounding neighborhoods. The Serranos towers are especially striking, and the location makes it a great starting point for a walk in the historic center or through the Turia Gardens, which are just below. And while the old city always grabs your attention, Valencia also has some modern architecture that's definitely worth a visit. The City of Arts and Sciences should be on everyone's list of things to do in Valencia. Designed by Santiago Calatrava in the early 2000s, it's a massive complex that includes an aquarium, science museum, planetarium, opera house, and more. If you're short on time, the aquarium, the Oceanographic, is the most popular attraction. But even if you don't go inside, the whole compound is worth seeing just for the architecture. It's a bit controversial, and some locals have mixed feelings about the cost and design, but I've always thought it looks really cool, and it's a nice contrast to the Gothic style of the city center. You can visit the buildings individually, catch an event or an exposition, or just explore it by bike, which is what we did. It's located at the far end of the Turia Gardens, so it makes for a great ride or a walk through the park. That's just a taste of what Valencia has to offer, from medieval towers to modern architecture, and of course, some great food along the way. If you want to follow in my footsteps and explore these spots for yourself, I've put together a custom map with everything I mentioned, where to eat, what to see, and how to plan your route around the city. You'll find the link in the description below. And if this guide helped you out, make sure to subscribe for more travel tips around Spain, and I'll see you in the next city.